Today I'm going to be going over 10 pivotal concepts when it comes to Python. As you know, Python is one of the most useful languages that you could probably learn nowadays. It's used for data science, machine learning, backend, even some front end stuff. And I'm incredibly excited to be talking to you today about 10 10 of the most important Python concepts. And I'm going to be teaching you it whilst we create an exciting project. And that exciting project is an e-commerce website, or at least a simplified version of one. And the way that we're going to do this is right now, I want you to stop what you're doing and go and Google Colab, or go to collab.research.google.com. This, you can think of Google Colab as a Google Docs, but for coding. So if I create a new notebook here, we can go to the file and let's just type in a new name and we say 10 pivotal concepts, Python concepts, and here we write e-commerce website. So there we go, we've written it. And here we have basically a code box where we can write all of our code. I'm just going to make this bigger so you can see this clearly. And what we're going to start off with is one concept. And if you've seen our other video, you'll know about what a comment is. A comment in Python, you start with a hashtag, just like if you were on Twitter. And basically it means that anything I type in here, hello, 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 is just for my own notes. It's basically a note. So anything I write after a hashtag on that same line, if I write something here, it's no longer part of the comment, but anything I write here is part of the comment. So I'm just going to write 10 pivotal concepts. And the first one that I'm going to write is variables. So we went briefly over variables last time, but I'm going to be teaching you a small trick as well of how to do a variable. This is your first time. A variable you can think of as a container. It is assigning a container, and so when I refer to a specific concept or name, I want to set a value to it. So let's do an example here where we say variable, and I'm going to put it in all caps, but you can put it, I'm going to write, for example, store, and the name of my store, so I do store equals, is, and I do quote marks, and I say my e-commerce store. And I might say, instead of Nike, I might say Mikey, right? So instead of Nike, I'm going to say Nike with AI in between. So then my store is called Nike. The discount that I write is I'm going to be giving everyone a discount, and I'm going to write has discount, and the variable names you can write like this, and you can also put an underscore if you want to write multiple. And as you know, we have a type, and so as types we have true or false for a Boolean. So this is what we like to call a string. This is a Boolean, so we're going to write true. And then last one I'm going to put is, okay, we're in this country and the country has a lot of tax. And so what is the rate of tax? Let's say the tax is 7%, right? It's a nice country. And so this is how we define three variables. I also can do a print statement. Print means that show me what's within this variable. And if I click print store and then I run this, it's going to say Nike because it's printed out the value. Now, the one sneaky trick that I'm going to show you that you can do is you can rewrite all of this, and Python allows you to do this efficiently in one single line. And I'll show you how you do that. You can do store. But I also want to set has discount, and I also want to set tax, and I can write it equals, and then write all of these values over here. So Nike, and I write true, and I write the tax here. And basically what it's doing is I'm saying for these three values, set it as these three values. And so it says store Nike. Has discount? True. Tax 0.07. So that's a new concept if you already knew about variables. And if you don't, you can typically just set them in this way. This is a more advanced way that you can also set it. Next, we're going to jump into two different concepts, which is one of them is lists. You'll also hear people call them arrays, which is what if I want to set a variable, but I have multiple things, right? Sometimes we have a list, like a to-do list or a grocery list. We're not just setting one concept, we have multiple things, right? And so what I'm going to say is my store Nike has products. And the way that I set a list is I don't want just like one product. I could write, for example, t-shirt. But what if I have multiple? What I do is I can do square brackets like this. And then I can write multiple that are comma separated. So I write t-shirt. I write shoes. And I can write Jordans here, right? So those are the products. And if I do print products, and I run this, there you go. You have all of the products that we have available. So that is how you do a list of things. It's not a single item, but I have multiple items and they're separated by a comma. Think of like a grocery list. My third concept is something called a dictionary. And this is not a dictionary like you have in the books, but in some other languages, it'll be called an object. Basically, it's a dictionary. The reason it's called that is like in a dictionary, you know what word you're looking for and you insert it and then it gives you the definition. So basically it's a type of storage that allows you to search things up by a field, right? So if I want to search up by a word, I can look up the word in a dictionary. But for example, let's say that we have prices, right? And I want to search up what the price is if I know the product. The way that you can define a dictionary is you use curly brackets. So remember, a list was square brackets and a dictionary is curly brackets like this. And so what I can say is I can say the t-shirt here, and then I do colon, is worth $19.99. And so that is the price. The prices for the t-shirt is $19.99. Then I do a comma because I want to do another product. And I can say the shoes are, and so think of this colon as are, the shoes instead of the t-shirt are more like $55.99. So they're much more expensive. And then Jordans, wow, those are really expensive. Let's say it's $100. And so here, what you've seen is that we've defined a dictionary, which has the prices of all the products. And basically, if I now show you what it looks like, I can print out prices, right? And it'll give me, I'll print out prices and it gives me exactly what we have here, right? But just on a single line. But now what's cool, just like a dictionary, I can search up a word. And if I search up the word t-shirt in this dictionary, right? I do prices, square brackets t-shirt. It's going to give me the value of t-shirt, of the price. So if I click here, $19.99, right? It searches up the value of t-shirt. If I click here and I do shoes, $45.99. Like here, if I do Jordans, it's $100. So there we go. We've learned about the concept of lists and the concepts of dictionaries. Next, we're going to go into something called class. And this isn't like a classroom. This is a way that we can define a certain type of thing. So for example, let's make a class called product. And we just write class as product. And this takes in something called a function. And so we're going to have to do a constructor function, it's called. And so just follow along with me, but do what you want to do is 2 spaces, def underscore underscore init underscore underscore self name, comma price, comma quantity. And then here it's going to be a bit annoying, but you write self dot. So what we've done here is we've said, hey, I want to define a new type of thing, which I want to invent, which is a Nike product. And the way that I define it is that it will take in itself, I will give it a name, I will give it a price, and I will give it a quantity that I have available. And so here you basically just follow this, but you say self name is name, the price is equal to the price, and the quantity is equal to the quantity. So that is pretty much it here. And what I can do now is I can create a new instance of this class. And so I say t-shirt product equals product. And then you can write t-shirt as the name of the product. The price, which we wrote here, was $19.99. And the quantity we have available is 1,000 of these t-shirts. And so now if I print this t-shirt product, let's see if it does anything. It just basically tells us it's a t-shirt product. But if I now do .name, for example, that allows us to access the name, and it says it's the t-shirt. Or if I do .price, it's the price. So a class allows us to put things all together, if you think of it that way. Cool. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to do class, and number 5 is functions, right? A function in a class. So here's one function, and we've covered what a function is before. But a function allows you to make a action. Here we've set values, but what if I want a product to have an action? So what happens when someone buys a product? What happens when someone buys a product is the quantity becomes one less, right? If I have 1,000, I sell, someone buys it off the website, then I have one less. So how do you keep count of that? Well, I can create a new function here by using def, and I say purchase. So when someone purchases the price, I do self, I take in the quantity that they want to buy, and I do if the quantity is less than self.quantity, return false. Right? And so what I'm doing here is I'm saying, hey, you can't buy this if we don't have enough. Sorry, right? So you say, you can't buy, we don't have enough, sorry. Or you can do an else statement. If you remember from last time, we can write these as conditionals. So if this happens, we do this. If not, we do something else. And this something else, what you do is you do self.quantity equals self.quantity minus 1. And basically what you're doing is that you're saying the new quantity is the old quantity minus 1 because we just sold something. We say print you just bought, and then I can do add here, and I can do str, which means a string version, and I can do quantity. And this is just a way to put this all together when you have a number and words that you want to put together, amounts of product, right? And then here you do return true, which basically says that they've done it. And so if here I have like a product and here we printed out the price, let's instead now print out the quantity, right? And so we start off with 1,000, right? And now if someone goes and gets this product and then says dot purchase, right? And if I, as you see, it takes in the quantity. So I say I buy 999 of these, right? When I print this out, what should happen, I'll print it before and after, is that it'll start off with 1,000, I'll buy several, and then it'll give me the new quantity. So I'll go like this, and it says 1,000, you can't buy, we didn't have enough, sorry. And so why did it say this? So you want to do it the other way around. So here you have 1,000, you say you just bought 999 amounts of the product. So here you do minus the quantity. And now you have one left. So now this is working properly. If you think about it, this is now how we can keep track when people buy things and how much quantity we have left. So that's great. Next, what we want to do is we want to go to our sixth concept, right? And our sixth concept is loops. So what we're going to say is we're going to do what we want to list with all our products, right? And how do you do our list? You do a list by doing, for example, here, we have an array. This is a list. And we can, for example, create instances of these products. And we say product was, we start off with the name, see, name, price, quantity. And we do name. We can do the price. And the quantity, let's say, is 1,000. And we can copy this. And I do another one here, and I do another one here. And instead of t-shirts here, we do shoes. And the price was $45.99. And here it was Jordans. And the price was 100. And there we go. I'm just going to do a square bracket. And this is a list, right? And so a list, we can even put it on a new line. So I can press enter. But there you have it quite clean. And you basically in this list have all the products, and here are the main products. So there we go. Cool. And so we have array. So we have constructor, create classes. Next, we're going to go into functions a little bit more. And so we create a function. Let's create a normal function. And a normal function, you don't always have to create it in a class. And so I can write calculate the price. And the way that we can calculate the price is that we want to calculate price with tax. And so we take the base, we take the disc and the tax, and we say if there is discount with tax and discount, and as you can see, we can make a very long name. And so if we do if discount, right? And I think here we had the name, we wrote has discount. So we put if has discount. Then the base price, you multiply equals the base price times 0.9, and let's say that's the discount. And then if tax, then we multiply the base times 1 plus the tax, which we had up here. And then what we do is we return. This means that we send some value back, and this is the answer that we think it is. So we do the base. And here we might say, because the base we've kind of adjusted, right? And so we can write price, for example. Price, 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 price. So now if we do calculate the price, and we say that there is, the price is 100, and I do have a discount, and the tax is 7%. So there we go. It's 100, but now because of the discount and the tax, this is the final value. And one other thing that we could do is we could round it to do 2 decimal places. So we can do round 2 decimal places. So there's a round function that we can do round 2 decimal places. And there we get 96.3. There we go. 2 significant figures, but here we can do okay. So next, what we want to do is we want to create a Streamlit app. And so what we do for that, what we can do for that is that we end main function. What we can do for that, and you'll just have to bear with me, is that we do def main. So this is typically the main function. This is the main piece that we want to write, and just write st.title. If we go back to the very top, we're going to write the following and just do percentage write file app.py. So we're going to be putting everything in here into a specific file. And then we're going to do import Streamlit, which is an application builder that we're going to build. And we do as st, and we also import random. So just have that in mind. And here we're going to write, we're going to do F and then quote marks, and the F allows you to write your store name, and you can write something like curly braces, and then here we write store. And so the store name was this. And so this allows us to insert variables, but here, for example, we can write the best store ever. The best e-commerce store ever. And then for the next one, what we can also do is st.write. And we're going to do select a product and quantity. We're going to do choice, which is we're going to allow people to choose. And we're going to do st.selectBox. So these are components. These are, you can think of it here as someone being able to select something. And we do, for example, product. And here we do names of the products. So here we had the products. Then is the next one we will write the quantity is st.number input, and then we can label quantity, comma, and then we say we can write 1, and then they can write what the actual quantity is. And then here we write if st.button purchase. So if someone buys whatever, clicks on the buy button, we're going to want to do the following. And we're going to want to write try, and you'll see that what it means in a second. But try basically says, yeah, let's try this out, and it fails, I want you to do something else. So it allows us to catch for mistakes. And here I'm going to write our ninth concept. Our ninth concept is called list comprehension. It's a little bit more advanced, but what it is that we will want to at sometimes have a list of things. And so we say items here, like all of our items is, and I do, and like that list, but instead of defining what I have in the list, I'm going to instead do product for product. So I can define a variable. So for every product in all products, remember all products was this list here that we created, right? If the product dot name is equal to the choice that was made. And so this is a really shorthand way, an advanced way, that you can say that when someone selects up here a product, right? They've selected out of the products, they've said, hey, I want the t-shirt. And so what we're saying here is, okay, I want you to go through this whole list of products right here, and I want you to select the one that has the select the one that has the name that the client picked. And that's how we can get it to be able to select the correct one. And so what I then do is I can go through the list and I say for if the item and the item dot purchase quantity so what I'm saying here is if it's true, right? And I run this quantity piece. So what I can say is purchase success is this item.purchase.quantity. Items 0, so it's going to be the first element. And I say if item and the purchase has been successful, then what I want to do is I want to write down the cost. So the cost is calculate the price. So this that we did here, calculate the price and the discount of item.price times quantity. And then I want to write has discount. Which we wrote back up there. And I write the tax as well. So that's the tax. And sometimes, do you know how in stores they have like this order ID? So we're going to create this random order number. It's going to be a very big number. And we're going to write random.randint. And we're going to make a random number between 1,000 and 9,999. So that's going to be our random order number. We're going to write st.success, f, and then quotes here. I write order. I write random order number. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to continue to write out this success function. And so the way we do that is we're going to create a new line. We're going to do std.st.write, and we're going to put a string here and we're going to write the item dot name multiplied by the quantity. So there we just write quantity, and we're going to write what the total is. So the total amounts to the cost, and so that took in all of the cost, and we're going to make it two decimal places. And we're going to write the stock left after this purchase is item.stock. And oh, I forgot the parentheses here, so we're just going to fill it in, and here as well. And we write here else st.error, so not enough is in stock. And so if we look at that if statement before, we said if the purchase is successful and we have enough, then do that. But if there's not enough, we say not enough in stock. Then we put an exception. So here, let's just make sure this is formatted properly. I'm just doing Shift and Tab to do that. And then we write exception. So here is our 11th and fun and extra tip or concept, which is exceptions, which means you can write these clauses that you can try something out and it fails, it goes to this except thing. And so now we're just going to write the last piece, which is if underscore underscore name equals underscore underscore main. Then we do the following. And here we write pip install Streamlit. And Streamlit is a service that allows us to create a front-end web application, so a website that connects to all of our things here. We're going to install npm install local tunnel that allows us to tunnel the URL. And then we're going to run Streamlit run content app.py and just write this out with me, ampersand arrow sign slash content slash logs.txt and ampersand sign as well. And then as the last one, we're going to write exclamation mark curl https slash slash loca.lt slash my tunnel password, and this will give us basically our local password, and then we're going to do exclamation mark npx local tunnel dash dash port 8501. So we're going to run both of those parts. There we go, and we run the second one. But now we see we're not really supposed to get a number here. So that already starts giving me flags. It says cell magic is not found. So we just delete that space, we run it again, stop the previous one, and run both of them again. Cool, now it's loading. Now we can go to this URL. It's going to ask us for the tunnel password. So we copy it and we paste it in there. Delete that and click submit. And it should be loading. As you can see here, we're starting to load the front end. Oh, and it's giving me a syntax error. I wrote something wrong, and I'm gonna, oh, there we go. The colon we can remove there. We pause both, and we're gonna have to run them both again. Here we go. We put the password in. And here we do purchase. Quantity of t-shirt is 10. And then it says list object has no attribute price. So we've done a mistake here. Let's look down. We'll check here. Scroll down a little bit more. Where does it say price? So we just search price. See if price is price there. And the price here as well. There's another place. There we go, item.price. So this actually should be okay, but if I scroll up, let me see. I'm gonna try again. It says list object. Oh, so it's list. There's probably a type error. So this item is actually a list. And if I see here, yeah, the item is a list. And we have to get the first element. So let's try purchase success. And write it here. There we go. We replace it twice. And let's run both of them again. Let's rerun it. Here we copy the password. And, oh, we have to go to the URL before. So there we go. We put it in. Click purchase. And it says bool, his object has no attribute price. So let's look here again. And we find it, and it says item.purchase. So there we go. I think I found it, which is purchase success is a Boolean. And so here we just change it to item 0, and item 0, which is just the first element. And now when we run it, this should be working okay. Let's run this. There we go, it's running up. Copy this, go to that URL, submit the password, and there we go. Should be loading. Let's try to click purchase. Oh, Streamlit has no attribute success. And so what it means is that debugging is a very normal part of the process. It means that we've written something wrong here. And as you see here, we've written success wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this first one, and I'm going to run the second one, and then we're going to restart it completely. And we'll just wait 1 second for it to load. Cool. Now that it's loaded, we can take that, we can go to this URL, we put in the tunnel password, submit, and here we get Nike, the best e-commerce store ever. So we click purchase, it says order, but it says product object has no attribute stock. And so we look here, and we look at stock, it says item.stock. And so let's check here if we have a stock. No, I believe we called it quantity. So instead of quantity of stock here, we write quantity. So let's stop this and we run both again. And we'll wait for the signal here for this to load. Copy this over, put this here, click purchase, and there we go. T-shirt times 1, total is 19.25, and we have 999 stock left. And if we try Jordans and we buy 100, it says that there's 900 left. Let's try and buy 901 Jordans, right? If we click purchase, it says we have 99 left. And if we say that we're going to buy 1,001 Jordans, there's not enough in stock, right? So there we go. We've just created a very easy and sample e-commerce store where someone can select a product, you put the quantity that you want to buy, and it allows you to basically kind of purchase that. If we want to put this neater on one line, we can just look at the best here and rerun it. But I would prompt you to try this out. Streamlit is a very popular service or a package, as we call it, in order to run data science applications. And so it forms a good front end, which means a front-facing application like this for you to be able to run. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. Now we've done all of this within a Google Colab in this notebook, but in real life, you actually have a full file that is called app.py that has all of this code, and you'll use some other service to host the website. So right now I wanted to do it so you don't have to pay anything and you can try and host it for the time being. The website will be up as long as this is up, but it is a nice way that you can start to use this and form this website. So if you want to take this project any further, things I would suggest is try to give an image here whenever someone buys, for example, shoes or Jordans, etc. I would prompt you to also look at styling, right? How does this change? How can you make this look nicer and more like a storefront? And also other hosting services apart from Google Colab. This is a tutorial, and so we wanted to show you what it looks like when you create it completely for free. But a real one will look very different. So I do prompt you to try and make it look a bit more Shopify style. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. Please go down in the comments and subscribe if you found this useful and give a like and a comment. If you want to see more videos, I'd be very interested if you could drop in the comments what you'd like to see next. Thanks a lot and have a good rest of the day.